This is the kitchen of your dreams.
If you're looking for the same brand of spectacle that all MasterChef fans crave, you certainly won't be disappointed. Let's get started on the top 10 worst dishes of MasterChef Season 4.
Are you ready?
Sasha's Langoustine.
I give you $50 worth of langoustine, and you give me this?
When the judges thin out the herd, only the strongest survive. Episode 4 is the first show right after the audition. One chef will have to say goodbye to a shot at the MasterChef title, $250,000, and the chance to publish a cookbook. Stepping into the MasterChef kitchen is like stepping into a candy store.
I'm looking at the equipment room, man. They got top-notch mixers, pressure cookers, they got top-notch everything.
Now, all they need to do is beat every other cook in the room. The first challenge was the proverbial mystery box. The challenge was to prepare, cook, and present a dish using only the ingredients hidden under those boxes.
Bacon!
With that challenge out of the way, the next trial was to cook something more complicated.
Langoustine.
Langoustines are also known as Norway lobsters and are essentially small lobsters. One of the finer seafood ingredients money can buy. Unfortunately, not everyone was cut out to cook langoustine.
And where are the langoustine?
On top of the cheese grits.
Enhance. Enhance. Enhance.
The combination was all wrong. What a waste.
What's it worth now?
With the grits, I'll say 55.
This is probably worth 55 cents.
Savannah's Cheesecake.
I'm looking at Savannah's Cheesecake, and she might be in a little bit of trouble here.
The dreaded pressure test was designed for one home cook to get the boot. The previous challenge required the teams to feed a 2-dish healthy meal to over 300 students at Emperor Elementary School.
You are now the MasterChef judges.
But the blue team fell short.
The blue team's green beans bent my fork.
For this episode, the judges tested the contestants' baking abilities by having them create the classic cheesecake in just 1.5 hours.
I've never made cheesecake. I don't even like cheesecake.
Cheesecake is an American classic, the perfect balance between flavor and texture. Chrissy's cheesecake looked pretty good if we are to be honest. It certainly impressed Joe.
This cheesecake has a lightness and a restraint to it. It's beautiful.
Savannah tearfully presented hers.
Salted caramel cheesecake with a hazelnut almond griddle.
Looks, well, okay. What did the judges have to say about it?
Almost half of that cheesecake is the base. You almost don't even taste the actual cheesecake part.
Joe, on the other hand, didn't have nicer things to say either.
I know that I didn't execute it, but I would like to stay.
Unfortunately, we're not here to make you happy.
Beth's Eggs Benedict.
This one is one of the most technically difficult. It's a MasterChef classic.
Episode 7's pressure test was the red team's turn in the hot seat. One dish that always determined fates in MasterChef is also one of the most technically difficult.
Eggs Benedict.
Eggs Benedict is a perfectly poached egg sitting upon a slice of bacon, perched on a hot, crispy buttered English muffin, and smothered in rich hollandaise sauce. It looked like the contestants all did their homework and practiced how to make poached eggs in the comforts of their own kitchen.
I make this all the time at home, and I want, more than anything, to take Natasha out.
Joe made this pressure test even more exciting by saying,
"There are only enough ingredients to make us one complete portion. You only get one shot at this."
Natasha was confident.
Last time you made Eggs Benedict, when was it?
Before I left to come here.
The rest were just working at a frantic pace. With 11 minutes on the clock,
My water is not boiling.
No, it's definitely not. Have you given up?
No, I'm not giving up.
we wouldn't say that Beth's Eggs Benedict were the worst, but we wouldn't think the judges would agree with us.
It's like a cold scrambled egg.
No, it's awful.
Stuffed pasta.
Classics work and they're appreciated time after time. Otherwise, they wouldn't be called classics.
With Eddie winning the mystery box challenge, he had the distinct opportunity of immunity and be in control of the elimination test.
Pasta with the filling.
Ravioli, ravioli, give me the formuoli.
The first one is
Agnolotti.
delicious, but a lot can go wrong. The second dish was mezzaluna, a favorite of Chef Graham's. Last but not least was Chef Gordon's choice, a mozzarella stuffed pasta with a delicious tomato sauce. Eddie's choice was the most difficult, agnolotti. To give everyone a leg up, the judges gave a demonstration. But it wasn't just a demonstration, it was a demonstration from one of the best.
Mama.
Oh my God!
Eddie got to eliminate who he thought was his competition by picking 2 contestants who would be forbidden to watch the demo.
I'll kill you where you stand, Eddie.
He picked Lynn and James, but it wasn't Lynn and James who got the boot, it was Howard.
What I got here is a mouthful of peppers.
Okay.
It's not harmonious with a pasta dish like this.
Classics are basics. Joe didn't understand why Howard had such a cavalier attitude.
The fact that you're not even thinking of playing this game properly is really annoying.
Lemon meringue pie without the lemon.
I've never made lemon meringue pie before. I don't even eat lemon meringue pie.
The remaining home cooks found themselves at the Paramount Studios for this episode. The exciting behind-the-scenes team challenge was to cook for the cast and crew of Glee.
Love it or leave it, you better gain weight. You better hit the bullseye, the kid don't play.
The red team beat the blue team 90-37, so this put the blue team on the much-dreaded pressure test. The pressure test had Chrissy playing the game.
I want her to think that I'm on her side. I'm not. You know, that whole keep your enemies closer thing.
The dish that would determine their MasterChef future was
lemon meringue pie.
The secret is in the base. A nice firm pastry and a delicious acidic lemon curd with oh-so-perfect baked meringue. Now, as if that wasn't hard enough, Joe just had to add another twist.
No lemons. A no-lemon meringue pie.
With 90 minutes to make crust, curd, and meringue, how did our home chefs fare?
Your first meringue pie?
Yes, sir. I'm making a lime meringue pie.
Don't let that break, Jimmy.
No, definitely not.
James was the first on the hot seat.
The pastry doesn't taste too bad, but your saving grace there is the curd.
Chef Graham found Jordan's version okay. Bethy was saved by Beamy's liquid pie. In a last-act mockery that was signature Ramsay, Beamy just had to be sent home. Un-crabby crab cakes.
You think you know it all? Then go cook it all yourself at home. Because this defensive act, no, just listen to me a second.
This episode's elimination challenge revolved around the favorite ingredients of MasterChef Season 3 winner, Christine Ha.
Chicken.
Yeah. Oh, hello there, gorgeous. It's a catfish.
A stunning Dungeness crab.
Lynn could pick the ingredient that one particular contestant would cook with and choose another that all the rest would cook with. So he chose Chrissy to cook catfish.
Tends to have this attitude about it. She has this confidence that I think no one else really has.
But before everyone could start, Christine Ha had one more surprise.
You're going to be cooking this challenge without sight.
This was a game changer. It was a sight to see, and the judges had a few good laughs.
Christine has a very cruel sense of humor. She was only joking. Take your blindfolds off.
Everyone was so relieved, but now the hard work would begin. Chrissy proved to be the expert with catfish at the start, but Joe thought she was playing it safe.
I asked you to make an excellent dish. I don't happen to think that this is kind of at the level we're looking at.
But the worst dish wasn't hers. It was Beth's mascarpone, crab cake with grilled peach and avocado salsa.
Intolerable at this point. It's disgusting, and it ruins my palate.
Beth knew that it was her time to turn her apron in.
Look how thin it is. It's more of a crab pancake.
Disastrous Macarons.
Clearly, 2 of you fighting this battle. 1 of you will be leaving MasterChef.
The 12th episode had the teams preparing a meal for a wedding. The competitors had their challenge set for them from the get-go.
No peanuts. No beets, no radishes, no celery root, no fennel, no Indian food.
The winner of the challenge was the red team, leaving the blue team for the pressure test. For the pressure test, the home cooks of the blue team were challenged to make a box of macaroons.
Chacaron, chacaron.
Light, airy, with just the right amount of crunch.
With 2 home cooks in the kitchen, it was a culinary battle of their lives. Lynn's macaroons tasted okay. His instant dulce de leche made it past Joe. Johnny's, however, was bordering on disaster. It certainly didn't look as good as it tasted.
Visually, you got the ratio right. They cut beautifully. See that little lip there? You got the nice crisp edge and that soft, gooey center.
But the journey had to end for Johnny at this point, even if Joe's restaurateur taste buds liked how it tasted.
Have you ever lost your temper like that on the job? Slam down the wall because you got a level wrong?
Szechuan Mushroom.
Rarely do you see mushroom as being the star of the dish, so that's what's gonna help me get rid of some people today.
9 home cooks were now competing for the MasterChef title, and it was as vicious as ever. This episode's elimination challenge involved 3 ingredients that the judges use in their restaurant all the time.
Beautiful Iberico ham, Serrano ham.
The most amazing, incredible, wild mushrooms.
Santa Barbara spot prawns. We also have tiger prawn.
Eddie, the winner of the last challenge, chose mushrooms thinking that it was a challenge to work with. An advantage given to Eddie was to choose who among his fellow home chefs would cook with the fresh and canned mushrooms.
Cheaper than the fresh, nowhere near as glamorous and much more difficult to elevate into a restaurant-quality dish.
Who got the canned mushrooms? Eddie's bigger competitors. But it seems that in spite of her advantage, Bethy still ran into trouble.
In the pantry, I forgot any form of sugar.
Really?
Bethy's dish was a Szechuan noodle dish with wild mushrooms.
Seems like there's a lot of noodle for the amount of mushroom.
And as for Chef Gordon Ramsay,
You've just sprayed my tongue with this perfume of sesame seed oil.
the dish was not what they expected at this stage of the competition. Bethy had to go home.
This is not easy for any of us. You're a talented girl, let me tell you.
Thank you.
Sushi Team Challenge.
It is one of the most composed, beautiful, elegant cuisines on the planet.
With Luca emerging as the winner of this episode's challenge, he had the advantage of immunity for the elimination challenge. The theme?
Sushi.
You might say the mysteries of the Orient are no mystery to me.
Luca now had the benefit of having his teammates replicate this dish of Japanese cuisine favorites.
And the bad news is that Luca got to choose the teams.
James and Jordan, Natasha and Chrissy, Jesse and Eddie. But the twist here was, while they were a team, they wouldn't be working side by side.
3, 2, 1, switch!
The biggest challenge of this episode was the delicate live sea urchins.
You start washing those things, they destroy the flavor.
Yeah, and you don't want to wash any of that off.
Can't.
The expectations were just as high as the stakes.
I just don't expect any of you at this stage in this competition to panic. It's embarrassing.
But Eddie and Jesse were walking on eggshells.
It's very overpowered with the vinegar. It's a very tart rice.
In the end, Eddie had to go home, but Chef Gordon Ramsay had such nice parting words.
You continue that dream for that gastropub because you are a phenomenal cook. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Chocolate molten lava cake.
You will have 75 minutes to make us 3 perfect chocolate desserts.
With just Luca, Natasha, Chrissy, and Jesse, the judges had them make a classic 3-course menu with appetizer, entree, and dessert. The winner for the Mystery Box Challenge was Natasha and Luca. The red team now had to go through the life-altering pressure test, and the contestants were no longer diplomatic about anything.
I would like to go 5 miles away because it's a bomb waiting to explode.
Chef Graham's chocolate mousse was pure, edible decadence. Joe's chocolate molten cake had always been a MasterChef classic. Chef Gordon's was, of course, a chocolate souffle. Chocolate! 3 stunning chocolate desserts in 75 minutes was really the stuff meant for chefs of steel.
The technical ability of nailing that souffle is the incorporation of those egg whites, making sure you got great momentum before you start adding the sugar.
Chrissy had the flavor, but Jessie had great technique. And as Chef Graham put it, she was the queen of time management. The moment of truth. The souffle belonged to Jessie.
Adding that salt, lifting and elevating that chocolate richness, you nailed it.
The chocolate mousse belonged to Chrissy, who got the chocolate molten lava cake. Both of them didn't quite hit the mark, but they chose
Jesse.
We hope you liked the video. Are there any of the worst dishes of MasterChef Season 4 that we missed? If you want to see more videos like this, click or tap that subscribe button, and in order to become a trusted Babble Topper, be sure to ding the bell to get notified whenever we upload a new video. Thanks for watching!